the voice of climbers.
So we are here with Siara Fabbri at the MELLOBLOCCO 2025. Hi Siara, thank you for being on Climbing Radio.
Hi guys, I'm happy to be here and at MELLOBLOCCO.
We know that you have reached high results both in physics and in climbing, and you worked at the CERN, European Organization for Nuclear Research. How important is your career as a physicist on one hand and climbing on the other hand?
Oh, that's a good question. Like, how do I balance those careers, or
how important are they in
okay.
your life? Is there one of them that's more important than the other? Are they the same?
I think it can change, and it depends kind of to exactly what I'm doing. I think I really love science, and I've always been passionate about it from a young age. And there's a lot of overlap between science and climbing, like the sort of logical thinking and solving problems. And I'm lucky to be at CERN because the science I get to do is really at the cutting edge. It hasn't been done. We don't know we're trying to find things out that we really don't know the answer to. So like, it is very special to me to get to work in that environment. But then at the same time, I really love climbing. I love sports. I've always done sports from a young age. So I feel like I can shift at points where I say, okay, I'm really happy with the science I've done, and now I really want to pursue climbing. And I'm sort of at this stage right where I'm so excited to put more effort into climbing and see where I can take it. So I think it's a balance, and so I'm really grateful to have both, but then also to change and really focus on one. And so now soon I'll be climbing.
So you have partially answered to my next question. That is, do climbing and physics have something in common, even though they look like very different?
Yeah. Actually, that's one of my favorite things, and I think about this is I think you see a lot of scientists who like to be climbers, and it's because especially for myself, I did experimental physics for 6 years, and so at CERN, it's like I said, you're trying to find something out that we really don't know the answer to, and the theorists like come up with ideas like it maybe could be this, or you think maybe this will happen, and then you spend, like for example myself, I spent 3 or at least 3 months working on something, testing, designing, and building, and then you do the experiment and it behaves completely different, and you learn something, and then you do it again, and you're thinking about it all the time, like puzzling over what could be the solution, or waking up at night, and it's like the exact same thing with climbing. Like there are so many possibilities, and it's like an experiment, because for taking a climbing hold, you could have your body in so many different positions, and so you're testing and testing. And what's interesting too is maybe you think it's one way and you find out it's completely different. Like you need to actually, the way you thought doesn't work, and you need to shift your body a different way. So it really, to me, is like this logic puzzle, like on the rock, or in physics, it's about finding some answer or finding the way something behaves. So it's my favorite part. Yeah.
Okay. But okay, you reached high results both in climbing and in your career. But what are the positive and negative aspects of focusing on different things? You know, maybe it's easier to focus on just one thing.
I think, right. That it's a good point, because I think it's hard to really master something if you're also doing other things. And so at the moment, maybe if I'm more motivated in climbing, I start to put in the minimum in physics, and then I'm not going to be as smart or relevant as other people who put their whole life into that. And that's also fine with me. I respect and admire people who pour their life and really understand things on such a deeper level. So, and I think, so it is hard to, and I think being able to commit all of yourself into something to really master it is what you need, and just the time to pour into something. So splitting the time then can be hard for that. Yeah.
Okay, and what's the positive part in your opinion?
Yeah, the positive part of having two things. I think that maybe you have less pressure because you don't, if all your time is focused on climbing and then that's all you think about, and it's the pressure of, well, if I don't succeed at this, then maybe what else do I have? I feel like even if I'm full-time all climbing, I still want to have side things that I can do and pursue, so I'm not just putting all this pressure, unless you have the really good mental mind to fully handle that too, and maybe that works for people as well. So.
Okay. Could you give us some examples of the climbs that gave you the were most satisfying for you, and also required this process of experimenting?
Yeah, of learning. I mean, for sure, it was my first like real hard climb, which is new baseline, the AP Plus in Magic Wood, because it's like, let's say I had strength, and you know, I could crimp hard, but I was lacking so much else. All the tactics of knowing how to climb outside, how to prep your skin, how many tries to give in a session, when to go. So I think it was really satisfying to like learn so much about climbing outside through a hard project. And even though, okay, the project took many sessions, I learned so much through it, and I really love that experience. I'd say that's one. And then, okay, other hard boulders, a hard slab that was so mentally challenging at King Khan and Gotthard Pass. I think this was so mental, and because I sometimes have a fear of falling. So this was one of the best climbing days I ever had, was going from being afraid to feeling really comfortable on this tall kind of vertical wall. And I'll say one more. There was trying hard boulders with my partner, Simone. We tried an 8C mini sessions together, and this, I think, is really special to have these experiences of getting to project something together, like with your partner or with good friends. Yeah.
Okay. What's your suggestions for the people who want to improve in climbing but don't have that much free time that pro climbers have?
Right. I think I can say on that, because I didn't always have a lot of free time. I think one thing I would say is, like, you can do so much more than you think. So, but also, like, you have to put in the work. So, like, you can say, like, I want to climb this difficult, but you need to put in the work to get there. But don't like dream. You can dream big. Like, you can, you know, climb a much harder in a year. Like, it's really amazing to see what people can do. And so if you don't have a lot of time, you really have to be tactical and also have a really good mental approach. So, because so much of the time I see it's the mental side, just people training in the gym, that limits them, because I don't know, they have their ego maybe is involved. Like they're like, oh, I'm not climbing hard today, and then they take it as a negative, and it's like, no, okay, like, you can always do something. You can lift weights, like, you can do something valuable and take something positive from the session. And I find even on outside projecting, like, if you can find something positive to take away, that's always important. And I guess that's the learning element. Like, learning and being positive will keep you motivated and not start to get negative. And so there's that. There's a big mental side, and then as well, like, I think really having a disciplined training plan, because if you only have a short time a week, you can still do a lot in that time. And me and my climbing journey, I didn't always do the best thing, even though I thought. So I think having an outside perspective, trying coaching, seeking out expert advice, I feel like it's really gonna help. Like, you will learn so much so quickly. So yeah, that would be my big recommendation. Yeah.
Could you tell us something more about your future projects?
Yeah, so I'm really excited now because I'm training for a Rocklands trip this summer, and I actually will take a break from work and really focus full time on climbing. So be in Rocklands for 3 months and just trying to get better at climbing on rock and being efficient and really making the most of a session. And so I have a couple boulders, like maybe Mirta or in book club in South Africa, that I'm excited for, some harder boulders. And then after that, I would love to push my level and climb harder grades. So I'll definitely be back in Switzerland or the States looking at projects to keep doing that and keep pushing my level. So yeah, I'm really excited for that.
Thank you, Siara, for this interview. Do you have anything to add to end the interview?
I think we covered everything. Just that, MELLOBLOCCO is really cool. It's rainy, but it's not always each year. And it's one of the, I've only ever done an outdoor climbing competition in MELLOBLOCCO. This is my 3rd year, and it's such a cool experience and environment too, with all the climbers around. So really having fun. Hopefully some sun later.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow or
tomorrow
later. Yeah,
looks good. So
okay. So good luck for your future projects. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me and for the nice question.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
The Voice of Climbers.